Hello,
Hi,
everybody.
Daddy.
Hi, Daddy. And welcome to the Sam and Ryan channel. My name is Sam.
My name is Ryan.
And today we are going to be playing Never Have I Ever.
Oh,
we got these little signs that I definitely didn't make 10 minutes ago. We went on our Instagram stories and asked you guys for some prompts so that we can play this and get to know each other a little bit better. I mean, we already know each other pretty well.
But you're going to get to know us,
We're
Father.
going to get to know each other pretty better. Pretty better. Not what I meant to say. Bailey's here.
It's a Bailey.
It's a Bailey.
Oh, you're such a small girl.
You're such a small.
Oh, Bailey, you're yellow with 3 black dots. We both posted this prompt on our individual stories. We screen capped things that we thought would be good, but then we didn't share them with each other. So we're going to go back and forth with some of these prompts, and we don't know what the other person's prompts are, Dad. So it's gonna be really juicy. We're gonna be revealing some deep tea about each other.
Deep tea.
In real time for you guys. YouTube.com.
YouTube. Ball change.
Cake splits. Like and subscribe. Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Oh, I was just gonna ask you that. Up to you.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay, you go first.
Never have I ever stolen something from a restaurant.
What did you steal?
So, fun fact, when Ryan and I were in New York, there was a hat that was left in a bathroom, and Ryan came back from the bathroom and was like, there's this really cool beanie that's like just sitting on the top of the toilet, like on the back of the toilet, and like, I want to take it. And I was just like in some type of mood this day, so I was like, okay, well, I mean, someone probably just left it in there, so like, if by the time we are done with our meal, it's still in there, I'm gonna go take it for my man. And I did. And we still have it to this day.
We washed it a bunch.
Oh,
don't
of
worry.
course. Of course.
But it's really cute.
But it's a really cute little Tommy Hilfiger hat. It's cute.
No regrets.
No regrets. That's what I stole.
But if you are a New Yorker who left your blue beanie in a Thai restaurant on 8th Avenue, it's mine now. One of the stage managers of Heathers orchestrated a Heathers West End, Heathers original off-Broadway company, like, hang sesh at a restaurant in New York while I was doing Wicked. And in Wicked, they put me up in an apartment. It was like a semi-furnished apartment, and it had these 2 like candelabra stands on the wall, but they didn't have candles on them. And while I was at this Heathers party, I got really drunk, and they had those little fake candles on the table that, you know, you just put a battery in them and they look really dope, and I thought they were cool, and I was like, oh, these would look great on my candelabra. I was wasted, I'm not proud of this, but I did steal 2 of them, and actually on my way out I was confronted about it, and I lied. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Of course I didn't steal electronic candles from your restaurant while they were in my pocket.
Wow, there's someone out there who knows for a fact that you stole those, and to this day is probably not watching this video, but is now getting the justice that he or her wanted that day.
Yeah, no, I mean, not one of my finest moments, was definitely super wasted, but
I mean,
when in Westerberg, you know what I mean? Never have I ever used my fame to get out of something.
Can't wait to hear this.
I have employees, I have agents, I have managers, I have people who work for me, and so if I don't want to do a project, or if someone has, you know, said that they want me to do something that I don't want to do, I just sick my manager on them and tell them to make up some excuse like I'm really busy even though I'm not.
Sure. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. When I hear that prompt, I think like getting out of a speeding ticket or something. By being like, don't you know who I am?
Oh, yeah, that's happened too, though. I mean, like, you know, I haven't had to pay at some places. I was just thinking getting out of, like, commitments. I use, like, I'm too busy, I'm too famous all the time.
Never have I ever kissed a person that I did not know. Yeah, it's called parties.
Never have I ever been high at work. I just told a story about being high at Disneyland, but that's not the only time.
Oh? Oh, Diggy, no. Diggy, no!
We would, like, vape in our dressing rooms.
Really?
Like, we, at once, I mean, like, the first few seasons, we were squeaky clean. But,
Oh,
like, at
I'm
the
sure.
end, like, we were taking shots. Well, we would always drink after work, so that's not true. But, like, there were some times where, like, there would be a rehearsal or there would be a scene where I only had one line, and I would just, like, in the dressing room. Again, I'm not proud of it, and I was also like 19. Like, what do you expect? But,
Yeah, 19 and on Disney Channel. What else does that add up to?
I'm the king of the world.
Never have I ever Insta-stalked an ex.
Yeah, I literally don't. Is there any other point of social media?
Than to stalk people?
Right.
No. I mean, I'm really good at Instagram stalking. I've had a friend who's been like, hey, that one guy that we ran into at that coffee shop for 2 seconds was really cute. Like, do you know him? Do you know his Instagram? And I'm like, give me 20 minutes.
Never have I ever had sex in public. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we have.
Then that's that.
Yep. Probably not going to tell him that
No,
story. Yeah.
let's move on. Never have I ever been ashamed of my job. Not my job now, but I will say that in some early Battle Universe days, there were just videos that we did that, you know, I was only talent on, so my job was to just show up and be in the video and do the challenge, and there were some that I thought were just like really silly and felt a little like, okay, like this might be a little cringy. And so when people were asking me like what I did around then, I would typically say like, oh, I'm on Dope or Nope sometimes, or like I work at High Five. But anytime people would want to like look up the videos in that phase of Battle Universe, I was just kind of like, okay.
Matthias is going to watch this and hate you so hard.
No, he will understand. That's why he stopped doing the videos too. Like,
especially when I was first starting out, but also just in general. Like, there's a culture in Los Angeles and New York where you say, like, oh, I'm an actor, and people basically respond with, like, okay, cool, what restaurant do you work at? Like,
yeah.
Even though I've actually had a really great go at it, like, I just think that there's a stigma about being an entertainer that people will shame you for, even if you're doing well.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a real job kind of thing, which just bothers me. But then, yeah, also, like, you have to pay your rent, and it's not always up to you what projects you do and what projects you take. And, like, I've definitely been in some stinkers. Like, well, and Liv and Maddie too. I mean, Liv and Maddie was amazing, and I loved that experience for the most part, but it is Disney Channel. Like, some of those plots are pretty far-fetched, and suddenly I find myself, you know, dressed like a tree, and I'm just kind of like, what am I literally doing right now? On top of the fact that, like, especially at the beginning when they didn't really understand what they were going to do with Diggy, I was just like, now I'm in Parker's scenes, and now I'm with this episode I'm Joey's friend, and in this episode I'm with Liv, and in this episode I'm with the dad. And so it was just like every episode it was kind of like, who is this guy? And so it's like, okay, so this episode I'm like grilling with the dad, and this episode I'm like sneaking into the school with the 9-year-old boy, and it's just kind of like, who is this guy? Just some moments. Well, I mean, you know, and I've worked at Disneyland too. Like, you know, it's just sometimes you're doing some things that you're like, Sometimes you feel smarter than your job gives you credit for.
Sure.
Sometimes you feel better than your job gives you credit for. But I kind of feel like that's every job.
yeah.
Never have I ever used a fake ID. This is kind of a cusp. My ID technically wasn't fake. I just used a real ID of a friend of mine who looked a lot like me. And ironically, one day we went to the same bar. We were within 2 spots in line with each other. And when I gave him the ID of who was actually my friend Jake, the bouncer looked at it and was like, oh my God, April 27th, that's my birthday. And then 2 spots later, the real Jake walks up and he's like, oh my God, April 27th is my birthday, and the dude who just win it. And it's like, you didn't put 2 and 2 together that you were just handed the same ID, bro.
Hi, Bailey.
Bailey, have you ever used a fake ID?
Have you ever used a fake?
To get into all those Pomeranian bars?
I have also used a fake ID. When I first got mine, my mom actually helped pay for it.
Lols. That's a cool mom.
But the whole reason I got one in the first place was because when I first moved here, all of my friends were older. I was getting invited to all of these music venues where even if I was like, mark my hand black, like, put it on my forehead that I can't drink, like, I don't care, they wouldn't let me in.
Right.
It was just very disappointing. Bailey, you're being a mess. It was just very annoying, and that is just like what my life was for 2 years, and I was like, I'm sick of this, and so I got one so I could go to all those music venues and places and things.
Bailey, get down.
Bailey, down. Never have I ever given a fake phone number to somebody. Yes.
Absolutely.
1000%, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Never have I ever hooked up with a fan.
Are you a fan?
I am a fan of yours, but that's not what this means. I have come very close on 2 occasions, but...
What's prevented the follow through there?
It was just circumstantial. Like, there was one girl that I was seeing who literally, like, I was at a theme park and she, like, approached me and she was like, hey, like, can I take a picture with you? And I was like, yeah. And, like, anecdotally, I was like, oh my God, she's really cute. So we took the picture and she walked away, and then she, like, came back and she was like, my grandma just told me that I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life if I don't give you my phone number, because that's what I really wanted to do. So here's my phone number. Ball's in your court. And we ended up like going out a few times, and I just kind of like got busy, left town, you know. Yeah. It was one of those things that it just sort of fizzled out. But like, I would have.
Never have I ever been blocked by a celebrity. I'm not the get blocked by a celebrity type.
Well, celebrities have too much on their plate to block someone random. Like, the only reason a celebrity is going to do that is if they really have to, if you're harassing them. So, like, the only people who get blocked by celebrities are losers.
No, but I will say there are some really funny, like, TikToks and Twitter threads about, like, someone commented on, like, a random celebrity's picture that, like, she doesn't like her bangs and then has been blocked. And maybe there's a bigger story there about, like, harassing them in the DMs or something. Sure. But there are some very random, like, oh, I was blocked by Nicolas Cage for saying he looked like a rotten carton of milk. And, you know.
Right.
But also, like,
I'm sure the side of that story that you're not seeing is they spammed them 800 times.
Exactly.
Or also, I mean, I know for me, like, granted, I'm not Nicolas Cage, and also my hair looks great, but, like, I know that if I just see one comment that's, even if it's really stupid, if I just see it and it's just sort of like, you're just being negative just to troll me, like, I'll just block you.
Oh, I have blocked so many people that are just, like, randomly negative. That so, like, I'm just like, I don't
you
want
have
that.
to be a loser to be randomly negative to a stranger on the internet. So those are the only people who get blocked.
T.
Never have I ever had a one-night stand. Worst mistake in my life. My dad taught me as a young boy, like, the sex is the ultimate physical act that should be spared for the ultimate emotional feelings. And with one exception, I have followed that advice, and I'm really glad that I did. But I had a one-night stand one time, and it was the worst mistake of my life. It was terrible. There are so many reasons why it was bad. I'm not going to go into it. But I knew that I shouldn't have ever had a one-night stand, and then when I did have one, it just solidified that is, like, random sex is just not worth it. And I'm not shading people who do. Sometimes it works for some people, but, like, and I'm not saying you have to be in love either. That's just a philosophy that I have, but, like, you need to know someone. Otherwise, you're going to, like, literally have sex with someone who's crazy. Not saying that happened to me, but that's what happened to me. And then you're, like, stuck there because you just had sex with them. And it's like, oh my God, how do I get out of this? It was a terror. I can't believe. Anyway.
Never have I ever drunk texted an ex.
Drunk texted an ex? I don't think that I have.
Yes.
I've sober texted an ex. All of the drunk mistakes that I've made have been in person. Mm-hmm. I'm not the type of person to reach for my phone when I'm drunk. I'm the type of person to do some foolishness right here in the room with my full self.
Yeah.
Never have I ever ghosted someone.
And honestly, I am okay with this method of getting someone to leave you alone. I understand that the more mature and responsible thing to do would be to send them a message saying, I'm not gonna talk to you again, like, this needs to end, please leave me alone. However, when I have tried to do something like that before, the person just continues. And that's when they need to get blocked and never hear from you again.
Yeah, I mean, I think that ghosting someone who deserves an explanation is shady. But some people don't deserve an explanation. And the fact of the matter is, this is just my opinion, but I think that it is a completely natural social phenomenon for people to drift apart. That just kind of happens.
Friends just drift apart.
You know, and so sometimes the easiest way to facilitate that is just to be like, okay, I kind of talked to this person a little bit. I'm going to stop talking to them now. And whether that's kind of at the beginning of something that maybe could become romantic and then doesn't, whether that's a friendship, whatever. Yeah. And then also, it's one tool in the tool belt to me. Like, if there's someone who I'm kind of like, okay, I need to distance myself from them, and that's step one, but then they reach out a little while later and be like, hey, like, what's going on? You don't continue to ghost them then. Then you engage and you say, okay, listen, I needed some distance for this, this, and this, and either I'm willing to have this conversation with you, and since I have distanced myself from you, all of the problems in my life that have surrounded you have gotten better, and so all the proof is in the pudding for me, and I'm sorry that I feel this way, but this is the way that I feel.
Yeah.
And then if they don't get the hint from that, you block them.
Yeah.
You know.
It is interesting, though, because I agree with all of that, but the point you hit on earlier about, like, you know, some people deserve an explanation, the thing that I've run into is people thinking they deserve an explanation when I actually have, like, no real relationship with them. Nothing, like, dramatic has happened. Like, nothing's happened. They just won't leave me alone. And, like, I'm like, well, yeah, they probably think they deserve an explanation, but sometimes my candid explanation would be, like, you pressured me into giving you my phone number at a game night once, and I had no clue who you were, and I do not want to hang out with you. You're creepy. Sorry.
My life and the way that I socialize is up to me. And if you don't like that I'm phasing you out, or if you don't like that I am not ghosting you or ignoring you, what's that lyric from the SZA song? Choosing not to respond. I am choosing not to respond.
Yes.
This is not a passive choice that I'm making. It's an active choice that I'm making. And I'm sorry if you don't like that, but my life is up to me.
So good. So good. Never have I ever faked liking someone to avoid drama. Anytime I'm in a room with anyone that I, like, don't really vibe with, I, you know, smile and nod. That's it.
Yeah, like 75% of the producers I've worked with. Yeah. Oh, no, that's a really interesting story about your career 30 years ago. Thank you so much for telling me that. All right, I think this is the last one, right?
Okay. Oh, we've spilled so much tea.
Never have I ever sent a sexy message to the wrong person.
Never to the wrong person. You have?
Yes.
Who? What?
I'm not telling that story. But
it was just to the wrong person.
And it wasn't like, this is my full penis. Like, it's not, it was just like, you know, I was in two conversations. One, I was like sexting my long distance girlfriend, and another, I was talking to a friend, and those lines got crossed. However, an addendum to this question.
Okay.
Have you ever sent a very important message or a very private message that should not have gone to someone else that did end up going to someone else? Because I have, and... I've
totally done one of those, and this is so bad, where one person texts me, and I'm like, oh my God, this person texted me. I'm going to text this to the group. And then, like, I text something that person said to the group, or I'm like, oh my God, you're never going to believe who just texted me. But I accidentally sent that to that one person. And it's like,
egg on your face moment.
It's like, how am I gonna fix this? I don't know that I've ever been like stuck in that. I feel like I've always been able to like wiggle my way out of it, but nerve-wracking.
I was with a girl a long time ago, and it was very, very much at the end of our relationship. It was not going well.
Okay.
And I was working on a new project. A bunch of the cast members from that project had come over, met my girlfriend at the time. We all had like a really good time together, and one of them like orchestrated a group chat. So it was me, my basically soon to be ex, and all of my work friends. And then I'm at work, and my girlfriend and I are really on the rocks, and she's, you know, texting me all the drama, and I'm just like, look, like, this really is not going well. We really need to talk about this. Like, I don't know why we keep having these same fights. And I sent that to the group, not to her. But so it went to her, and also all of the people I was currently at work with.
No!
And I just put my phone down. I went to all of them, and I was like, I'm so sorry that you just got that text message. Me and my girlfriend are really on the rocks right now. I can't believe how much tea we just spilled.
I know. Guys, thank you so much for all of your submissions
Yeah,
on our
great
Instagram
questions,
stories.
really good prompts.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram so that you don't miss these prompts, so you can be a part of the Sam and Ryan videos.
And speaking of engaging in our various social media accounts, be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you guys next time.
That's just Bailey saying bye.
She's saying bye. Bye.
Bye. What's out there, baby?
Go attack.